Hello, everybody. I am Sunny, the founder of Breakthrough Apps, and today we have a very special guest. We've got Mindy Arbuckle. Mindy, out of Colorado, is a spiritual teacher, a holistic empowerment coach. She's a ritual artist and a creator of the SOULutions app. What is SOULutions app, you ask? It's a sacred space for mindfulness, embodied spirituality, and daily spiritual practices. So Mindy is recognized for her deep work in sacred feminine wisdom, embodied spiritual transformation, meditation, yoga, mantra, and energy healing. She has actually spent over 25 years teaching and guiding individuals in practices that support presence and inner clarity and emotional healing. So I'm so excited to have Mindy here. Of course, Mindy's one of our breakthrough partners. Mindy, nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Sunny. It's been such a fun adventure so far.
Awesome. I want to go right to the start. And your work is actually very, it touches my heart because I have a little baby girl now who's 10 months, a little baby girl, my first kid. And I'm so happy that it's a girl. So the work that you do empowering the feminine, empowering women, it's especially in our world today and the last many years, it's amazing. And I'm so happy about your work. I would like to start at when you were a baby.
Okay.
Take us through where were you born? What did your parents do? And then take us through just high level, your childhood a little bit.
Wow. Okay. Let's go deep.
This is not one of the questions, but I felt called to it.
Let's do it. You know what? I was just writing about this morning because I'm working on a goddess book and empowering the feminine through the goddesses. And this story of my past of how oftentimes we feel like we're planted in places that don't feel good to us at the time. But in hindsight, we've realized that there was a lot of deep blessings that came from that. And that's definitely true for me. So I was born in Nebraska, in the middle of almost nowhere, Grand Island, Nebraska, and I didn't ever feel like I belonged. I felt like a sore thumb, like a purple sheep, a tie-dye sheep. I don't know. Like I was the hippie chick in high school when that was not a cool thing to tell somebody. It was definitely derogatory when it was pointed at me. And I didn't ever feel like I fit in, but that also made me want to build community for people who grew up in similar ways, who didn't feel like they fit in for whatever reason. And eventually that led me to go, my parents are wonderful human beings. I don't think they understood where in the world I came from. I was the fourth child out of four. And I think that they were like, where did this child of ours come from? Like, is she from outer space? Because I did not fit the mold of anybody else in the family. They loved me for who I was, which was great. That was their job. They did the best they could with it. My dad wanted to be an engineer, but didn't have the ability to be an engineer when he was growing up. I mean, he was born in the Great Depression in the Dirt Bowl in Nebraska. It's not a really great place to be for higher education. So he did engineering-like work, working for the State Department of Roads in Nebraska. My mom, on the other hand, would have made an amazing teacher. Again, didn't have the ability to go to college. So she ended up working at elementary and middle schools as their janitorial specialist. So she cleaned schools for her profession. And I started working at the age of 6, helping to clean schools after I got done with my education day. You know, I come from small roots, but they're deep and they're wide and they're loving. I remember the day that I told my parents, Mom and Dad, I'm on the phone with them. And I said, I chose you to be my parents.
Oh my God.
And they were like, they were silent for a little bit. Like, I don't know what to say to this because they're deeply Catholic. That's not part of their normal. And they said, after a little bit, I'm so glad you did.
Thank you.
I was like, okay, that's all I needed you to say. That's amazing.
Wow.
So they didn't ever understand me, but they always loved me.
I love that. Catholic parents from Nebraska. So humble beginnings, and thank you for being open about sharing that too. And how cool. I feel like you were a unique child.
To
To
say
say the
the
least, to say the least, right? How do you remember where you kind of came across spirituality as a concept for the first time
hmm
or in the
So
beginning?
I was also raised Catholic, and my favorite part of Catholic service was always singing. So I loved the singing. I didn't really care what we were singing. I just loved to sing. But the rest of it didn't land deeply for me. It felt inauthentic. It felt
Mm.
staged almost. And I remember going to an engineering university, mostly because I thought that was the right place for me because my dad and my favorite chemistry teacher told me that was a good place for me. And I was a year and a half in, and I had this epiphany that said, oh no, I'm here not for me, but for them. What am I going to do? This
Mm.
isn't the right spot for me. And I have this huge epiphany that I'm in the exactly wrong place, that I have not been listening to myself. I've been listening to everybody else and following their beliefs in me rather than what was true to me. It was School of Mines. It's an engineering university here in Colorado. Everything is math and science oriented. There's no liberal arts there.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I start a different school, I'm going to have to start with all 101 classes. I've got my math and science done, but I haven't done anything else. And I don't want to start another school. So I decided to study abroad. And studying abroad led me to saying to myself, well, I want a way to stay healthy, but I don't want to take anything extra with me for this year away. So I went to my tiny little town's only bookshop. I found the one book on yoga in the entire store, purchased it, and that was the very beginning of me finding my way back to me.
Do you remember what that book was?
Yeah, it was the Sivananda Guide to Yoga.
Seven and the Guide to Yoga. Okay.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, absolutely a classic. I mean, it's the only thing available in Nebraska.
And where abroad did you study?
I went to England and to Poland for my junior year in college, and then came back to Colorado, got my degree in economics and business, like the only non-math, science, engineering degree you could get at Mines,
Huh.
and then moved to Alaska with my new husband after I graduated.
Wow. Okay. That's so cool. But, by the way, this interview is about you, but fun fact I just want to tell you, I went to school for engineering, right?
You did?
I did, computer engineering. But what was funny was I got accepted to go into like nursing and then med school. And then when I got accepted, it was like at the 11th hour, I realized, same realization as you. I'm like, I'm doing this for them, not me. And then I switched to engineering, which is what I really wanted. So it's funny, the parallels and the world.
Yeah, it's like I think we all want validation from other people.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my God.
And we seek that through their approval and their guidance instead of listening to that wisdom that's always existed inside of us. We want other people to tell us, and it's easier sometimes when other people tell us what to do. Then we don't have to make that decision and we don't have to feel responsible. But eventually there's a part of us, especially when we start opening up our eyes and our hearts to this spiritual realm of being, that says, that's not me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How does your practice take shape from there? And then eventually take us to like when this started to become a business.
Mm-hmm. So I used that book while I was away for the year. Fantastic. And then I also utilized the practices in my final year at School of Mines. It was 18 credit hours at an engineering university, which is a lot. It was a full load, but I was also working 3 jobs and planning a long distance wedding. Like my husband lived in Alaska. He wasn't my husband at the time, but my fiance lived in Alaska at the time. I was in Colorado. We were planning a wedding for the August right after I graduate. It was a stressful time. So much stress. I could hardly sleep. So I started using the pranayama practices in the book to fall asleep. Right? And then after I get through all of this, married, moved to Alaska with the new hubby, I actually had space and time for the first time in my life where I wasn't just crammed full of everything, that I wasn't trying to prove myself constantly through production. I didn't have a job yet. I just was like, you know what? I'm going to dive into this thing called yoga because it's been helping me, but now I actually have a little space to do it, practice it. And so I spent hours every day practicing yoga, breathing. I was dabbling in meditation, but was really frustrated with myself because there was a really mean version of me inside there that I wasn't ready to talk to yet. And then I was like, this is so amazing. I feel so good. I feel like me. I got to share this because if I don't share it, shit, that would be the most selfish thing I could do. So
like you've discovered this whole new world and a way to like fix your pain, so to speak.
Mind blowing. And I had to share it. So then I look into, okay, well, I'm in Anchorage, Alaska in 2001, before there's a yoga center on every corner.
Wow.
Where do how do I learn this? How do I learn to teach this? And there was two options. There was a year-long program at the only studio in Anchorage. And when I walked into that studio, I felt 100% out of place. Like, this is not for me. This is not my home. This doesn't feel right. And the other option was a program called Yoga Fit, who was coming to Anchorage for a weekend training. And I was like, well, this might not be the perfect fit either, but I'm going to go for it because I'm so ready. I want to do this. Yeah. So I literally had a job lined up for myself to start teaching the Monday after this weekend long yoga training. I took over for this man who'd been teaching for like 20 years. But I started teaching immediately. And then I just loved it so much. It felt so good. I started teaching like 25 classes a week. So
that's a lot. Wow.
In my first year, I had thousands of hours of yoga teaching experience. I mean, it was phenomenal. I loved it. I just dove deep into teaching. And I'm a self-studier. I really love to learn things. And with yoga, it was like I was learning it, but I was more so remembering it. Like my soul guided me to yoga and told me, this is what you've done before. Bring it back up to the surface. So like the yoga philosophy made so much sense to me. It wasn't heavy. It wasn't dense. It wasn't esoteric. It was real. It was my life. And it felt so good to feel like I wasn't alone for the first time. Like, there's other people out here who have been doing this for thousands of years. Yes.
Right.
I'm not alone.
Wow. And that those teachings making their way to the West in the form of books and videos and all that, and now apps and you found that book. That's what's crazy about the story. It's like it was held by a string of just finding that one book changes your total course.
Yeah. So then moved back to Colorado, get a regular job. And I got laid off from it about 1.5 years after we moved back to Colorado. And I was like, you know what? I could go get another real job that I'm discontent at, or I could open a yoga studio. And this was 2005. And I was 25.
And the regular job that you had, just for context, it's like a corporate America. Like what kind of?
Yeah, I was working for a lawyer doing research for his cases. It was nothing really very exciting. I honestly spent almost as much time researching yoga in his office as I did researching the legal theories.
Let's shout them out. No, just kidding. Okay.
I mean, I would do handstands as like, I need to wake up. So I'm going to go do a handstand in my office to just wake myself up.
I can't believe what can put you to sleep faster than reading legal articles.
Oh my God, I'm so worried.
Amazing. Okay.
But that, I was like, okay, well, here's a door opening in front of me. I could walk past it. I could take a deep breath and learn how to do this. Or I could, go get another real job. And I decided to take the leap. And I opened up my first yoga studio in Denver Metro in 2005. I kept them going. I had 2 different incarnations of them for 16 years in Denver. It was beautiful. I built gorgeous communities. It was fulfilling on so many levels. And then honestly, on another level, the financial level, I just worked my ass off and didn't get paid hardly anything.
Wow. And
so
you were the owner of the studio. Did you have?
I was the owner, the operator. I taught yoga classes. I mean, everything. I developed teacher trainings, like 550 hours of yoga teacher trainings, plus endless content, plus workshops, and just like things to keep people engaged and learning.
Wait, can I dig into that just for a second? Obviously, hopefully this doesn't bring back any trauma, but I'm sure you worked through all of this stuff.
Yes.
You said did all that, didn't make any money. Can you say more about that? Was it like lease was so expensive, or just money management, or like what was?
It was like I was always on the verge of making enough. Like I always covered all of our bills. I always had enough to pay the teachers, to pay the leases. And it was always so close to being right there where the next 10 people will get me what I need. Or, it was like right there. So it was always felt like it was within reach, but always out of reach.
I see.
And it felt like I couldn't give up. Like I had built something really beautiful. It was very different than all of the fitness oriented yoga in the Denver area. Yeah. And it was a really special place. My community was gorgeous. It just didn't ever grow quite large enough to really sustain me through a financial means. I loved the work, loved it, didn't ever get fulfilled by it financially.
Interesting. Do you think it was part of just that timing that maybe people weren't as much into yoga at that time? Because obviously, things have massively changed in the yoga community now. Like, I'm sure you go back to the same place. There's like 9 yoga studios, I'm sure. Right?
Yeah, I was one of the first yoga studios in the area.
Yeah.
And, I had longevity, and I had the right reasons for doing it. I had so many business coaches. I mean, like I learned so many skills from owning my own business and from the desire to make it work. I learned how to be like, the website manager and the financial specialist and the CEO. Like I did all the things. I had so many hats that I wore. Yeah. And yes, there was an element of maybe there just wasn't enough people that were interested in the depth that I offered. I think that was a really good story that I told myself. And I also recognized through this healing that you alluded to is that my lineage, my family lineage, this one from Nebraska, they were always on the next frontier. They always were looking for the next thing. So like I have early ancestors that came to America early on. They weren't Plymouth Rock kind of people, but they came early on searching for a better life. And they did it through farming. They were like, well, let's go to the next frontier. Let's find the new way of being. Let's find the next best thing. But they always struggled with it. And it brought them all the way west to Nebraska and Colorado. That was kind of me in the yoga world. Yoga studios are not profitable, right? Like running a yoga studio and making a living at it is a really freaking hard job to do.
Trust me, I know so many teachers that have a similar story to that. Well, thank you for sharing that. So yoga studio, how many years did you have it?
15, 16 years. It was a long time.
But you were continuing to go, but it didn't.
Like, I mean, we made enough, but it was never a real salary.
Right, of course. And I think those are the scar tissues that I'm sure you have as an entrepreneur that normal people cannot understand that.
I know, right? Yes, I am such an entrepreneur. I was like, I have that business mindset, and not everybody does.
How did you keep your mindset at that time? Because, you're at this stage, it's like almost making money. I mean, you're not exactly struggling, right? You're not losing money, but like it's never quite a salary for yourself. You're not defaulting on the lease. You're paying the yoga teachers. Like it's a great business in many ways, but it's still a struggle because it's like, hey, I really need to be making this much. What needs to change? So in that time, if somebody else going through that, or maybe you look at Mindy from the past, what advice do you give at that time from like a mindset perspective? How do you handle that?
It was really challenging in many ways. And I was also supported. I am in a loving relationship. My husband was able to make enough money to be able to support the family without needing the income from what I was doing. So he gave me the ability to follow my heart, to really truly anchor into my dreams. And I'm eternally grateful to him for that. Like, just about tears in my eyes right now, because he's so generous to be able to do that for so long. And he's still doing it to a certain degree today, but it's changing because of the work that we're doing together, which is exciting. But it was really like, I loved the work that much. I truly adored the people who came in. I truly desired to make the world a better place. And that was the way that I could do it. During those 16 years, I think I kind of created a really cute safety net and like a security blanket around me called my yoga studio. And it kept me smaller than I needed to be. I think that I was meant to be blossoming bigger. There were always messages about bigger that I just like, I would dabble with, but never, I was like, but I can't because my yoga studio is not taking off enough because I'm not supported enough here. So how could I be more supported if I expand? So it had blessings and it had curses to it, but they're all learnings. They're all gifts in different ways.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So that's a yoga studio. Then talk to me. How does the transition happen? And maybe it's just a natural evolution that you're going more towards, like woman empowerment, the power of the feminine. Like, was a yoga studio based around that too, or was a yoga studio a little bit just about yoga itself? Where does the transition happen because as I look at your business now, I really see, I'm like, this is a woman who knows who her target audience is. She knows what she's teaching, and she knows who is not the qualified customer and who is the qualified customer. Which like many people don't have that, and like they end up spinning their wheels.
Late 20s, I was drawn to take prenatal yoga teacher training and to work with women. And it was before I had babies. My first baby came when I was 30. And shifting from maiden to mother really was a huge eye opener. Like, I had no idea my heart could expand that much with the first baby. And you're right in there right now with your 10-month-old.
Big time.
Like, I called this beautiful child in and she picked me to be her mama. And like, oh my gosh. So then I started working and teaching prenatal yoga, postnatal yoga at my studios every week. I started singing to them when I picked up a harmonium for the first time. I had already been doing mantras for years, decades maybe. And when I started singing these songs to prenatal and postnatal women, it was really just like so deep for them. And their babies loved listening to the music after they were born. Like, I could settle the baby down in an instant if I just started singing to them that like their mom came to my classes. It's like magic. And I actually produced an album called Mantras for Mamas. And you can find it on Spotify and all those places. But it's like these ancient mantras that I've really honed in for specifically mothers. And that's when it really started to blossom open is through this work with the mothers. And then when I sold the studios 3 weeks before COVID shut everybody down, amazing, like crazy divine timing. I had already moved to the mountains and I was just sitting and listening. I had put all my practices down when I moved to the mountains because I was trying to figure out who I was as not a studio owner, right? Because that was my identity for a really long time. Who am I if I'm not a yoga studio owner? And I was just listening and women kept coming to the surface. The goddesses kept coming to the surface over the last 6 years since I moved to the mountains. Shakti and I have gotten to know each other so much more, the sacred feminine. And at some point, probably 3 or 4 years ago, she said to me in a meditation, Mindy, get used to me because I'm never going back to sleep, like ever. Like, because we have these Kundalini awakenings and like she wakes up and then you feel so good. And then she like kind of goes dormant again. And she's like, no, I'm not going dormant ever again. Just get used to me. I'm going to be here forever now. I'm here so I do, like, I just embody the sacred feminine. This is who I am. This is the work that I do. And she wants me to support women specifically. And then there are men who are going to come into this world as well. It's not focused on men, but there will be men who enter the realm. Because it's not about just feminine empowerment. Yes, gosh, we need our women to be so much stronger. We live in an amazing time. Like, women have so much more freedom today than they did even 100 years ago, like night and day. And we need to wake up this sacred feminine, this deep spiritual power that we have been told doesn't exist anymore. Like, you can be quiet and you're going to be better if you're quiet, or listen to the men in your life because they know better. Or, there's so many ways that this shows up in our culture. We still live in a patriarchal, masculine oriented culture. And even women are conditioned to believe in the masculine way of being. So if we can wake up women to the power that exists innately within them and to honor that, to find their home in that, then we will be able to wake up the sacred masculine as well. We'll be able to support that path. And then it's a harmonious society that we live in, not a patriarchal, not a matriarchal, but a harmonious society where everyone can be honored. That's the deep work. That's where this is all leading.
That's amazing. What is the SOULutions ecosystem right now?
So the SOULutions ecosystem has a lot of beautiful offerings, including the SOULutions app, which is phenomenal for just daily practices and rituals. If you want more one-on-one work or group work, I do offer different coaching programs that really honors your multidimensionalness, because we're not just human. We're not just this body or mind. We're not even just body, mind, spirit. We're actually body, energy, mind, wisdom, and spirit. Like, there's the koshas is what I'm alluding to. And it's learning about yourself from a new perspective, understanding how you work from the inside out, because a lot of us have actually been through a lot through their spiritual practices, right? Like, we have been initiated over the last many years. And how do we now integrate this initiation? How do we integrate the wisdom that we're learning from our journey into our daily lives, into our work, without us being preachy, without us feeling too woo for everybody around us? It's like, just how do you show up more authentically real and you? That is the deep work, is understanding yourself and knowing what makes you tick, and honoring the shadow, honoring the light, bringing heaven to earth. It's all of these things. It's not an either or, it's a both and proposition, like seeing your wholeness, not just these bits and pieces and parts, or having to hide in the spiritual closet. Like, ooh, I am spiritual, but nobody can know about it.
Right. So then tell me this. I want to talk like the technical part of your business now a little bit.
Okay. Yep.
You have this beautiful website that you created yourself.
I did.
Of course, we have the breakthrough landing page that you've worked on as well. And the app, it looks gorgeous. Where did you learn to build a website so nicely? Did you take a course? Just doing all this tech stuff, did you take a course, or have you just been a gal that just figures it out?
I just figured out, seriously, after owning your own business for 16 years and feeling like you don't have enough resources except yourself, you are the resource, then you learn how to do a lot of things. And I did all of our marketing. I just have learned sort of marketing and design aesthetics through trial and error, really. And website building, same thing. Like, here we go. Let's do the next one. I don't even know how many incarnations I've had.
Yeah. Obviously, you decided to work with Breakthrough to have an app-based membership. Why an app?
I feel like, again, the divine is calling me to go bigger. She's given me this message throughout my whole career. And now I actually feel as if it is time. And I want to have this gorgeous container for the current clientele that I work with, but also the clients who have not yet found me, but are looking for me. I'm in the process. I'm about halfway through this amazing goddess book that I've got a goddess course for that's coming. Like, we're reincarnating it from a 9-month to evergreen. I'm really excited about that. And then we've got the course that then mirrors the book, and the book mirrors the course, and it's all on the app. And like, just a home, a sweet, gorgeous, beautiful home that I can have pretty much all of my teachings in. That's the reason for the app. And it's going to fill with Like my vision is hundreds of thousands of people. It might not be there yet, but dang it. Like this is stuff that the world needs right now to help us move from where we are to where we're going. We are the solution, right? Like nobody else is going to do it for us. And if we actually take time to anchor ourselves into these sacred rituals and practices, from meditation and yoga to crystals to food, to yoga nidra, like these are the things that are going to help us feel solid in our true selves.
Yeah. It's an amazing concept of like Mindy in your pocket.
Yes. I'm a temple in your pocket right there.
Yeah. Tell us, what are you looking forward to this year, and what's happening in the Mindy Arbuckle business and the SOULutions business this year?
Okay. The Shakti SOULutions book is getting published. I don't have the publisher yet, but she's coming. Nice. It's going to be the most beautiful goddess, most deeply felt goddess book the world has ever seen. So that's exciting. That's kind of the focus right now, is that will let everything else blossom. So speaking engagements and being able to reach a larger audience, being able to have a container for all these beautiful sacred teachings with the app, having people just find the app because the app is amazing in itself. You don't have to be into goddesses to love the app. You can be, because they're all there, but it's really about embodying sacred feminine leadership this year and expanding my influence nation and honestly worldwide this year.
Give us a last shout out, woman listening to this, or maybe some other new creators listening to this want to reach out to you for advice. How can people reach out to you?
Find me easiest at mindyarbuckle.com, or you can also like at Mindy Arbuckle for Instagram, or Facebook is fine. But really, truly dive into the app if you can. It's called SOULutions app. It is available on all the app stores. It is magic in your pocket, truly. The 21-day journeys are practices that you can integrate into every single day because they're 1 to 3 minutes long. So easy. There are, of course, longer practices, yoga, but really let yourself be you. That's the most important thing. And when you need support on there, I'm right here for you.
Awesome. Well, that's a great spot to leave it. Thank you so much, Mindy. Thank you for joining me today.
Yay. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Talk soon. Bye.